What's good, everybody? It's Batman. We're going to be reacting to New Horizons. We're starting from old all the way to new, from bottom to top. He's a pretty good Naruto scaler, by the way, if you guys don't know who he is. I don't think he debates. I could be wrong, but I don't think he is a debater. But he is a Naruto scaler. He's pretty good from what I've seen. He's had collaboration videos with your boy Thunder God. If you guys don't know who that is, I'll make sure to put his YouTube down in the description down below as well. They both go to Naruto scalers. You name it, really good content. So if you guys like anime, or especially Naruto, definitely check out their stuff. If you love them, subscribe, give this support. Very underrated channels. Extremely underrated. They definitely deserve to be up there with channels like Seth, Six, Swag, you name it. But anyways, so this video title is interesting. I'll be 100% honest with you. I could search it up on YouTube. Maybe I'm wrong. But from my knowledge, I've never seen anyone even discuss this topic, Drunk Lee versus Shikamaru with Prep Time. So it's really, really interesting. I'm just going to give my brief thoughts. As this is a 5-minute video. My brief thoughts, obviously when it comes to the lines of scaling, Drunk Lee would absolutely shit on Shikamaru. He'd basically speed blitz. You're talking about a guy that was giving Guy and Neji problems to be able to just restrain. Okay, and you're also talking about a guy that fought against Kimimaro, who's the strongest of the Sound 5, who could beat all 5 of them at the same time. And Shikamaru was struggling to beat the Flute Girl, and literally would have lost that fight if Tamari didn't come to save him as well. So the scaling is blatantly shown and obvious as day. And you're talking about a Lee that was able to beat that Kimimara's ass, base at least, bare minimum, and was forced to use CM1 and his bone jutsu activation, okay, to compensate for the line of scaling, and then be able to wake him up and then go from there. So, Drunk Lee is no joke. Okay, scales to Kimimaro, you name it, blah, blah. While Shikamaru scales to someone below Kimimaro, it's there you go. So, obviously, if it's Bloodlust to Drunk Lee just slams, kills him, whatever. It doesn't matter what level of prep time you have, okay, unless, like, Shikamaru has, like, resources like fucking Batman, okay, that can be able to compensate for the power gap difference, you name it, great, whatever. But the type of prep time that Shikamaru utilizes in Naruto is only effective and works if he can scale to his opponent. It's shown over and over and over consistently. So, if we have a Shikamaru with prep time, okay, it's just not going to work with someone that outscales him. Now, if Lee pulls an okie-doke doing some things that Kimimaro did, okay, or what he did against Kimimaro, where he, like, stops fighting and try to pretend he's sleeping and shit like that, whatever you name it, maybe Shikamaru can be able to pull off a W, but that's like a big maybe. Like, I'd say he'd win 1 out of 10 fucking times, okay, but, with high def, too. So, I think this strongly favors Drunk Lee. It's with the simple concept as, if you have Batman, okay, with prep time, but could only be effective with his prep time if he scales to the person, okay, and he's fighting against Superman, and Superman is bloodlusted, how the fuck does he win that? How does he win that? You know what I mean? Like, what does he do? He wouldn't be able to be fast enough or even be able to perceive his opponent moving and attacking, While in the DC Universe, when he has prep time, for one, he's able to move fast enough to fight his opponent, and two, okay, he has everything ready to go to where even with their speed, whatever you name it, it's able to just activate or be utilized before they can even do anything, regardless of the speed and power scaling, So, it is what it is. There's different levels of prep, you know what I mean? That's what I'm basically trying to say. But we're going to get into this video. We're going to see his thoughts, you name it, whatever. We'll do some pauses here and there. I'm not going to do too many. I don't want the video to be too long, but let's get it.
That I really wish we could have seen in the show. I'm talking about a drunk, lusted Lee versus Shikamaru with prep time. Now, I know that both of these characters are just god of shinobi, so we're going to have quite the fight today. So let's start off by saying that in this video I'm going to be using the Shikamaru that fought Hidan, and for Lee we're going to use the one that fought Kimimaro, and in this fight Lee is going to be drunk lusted. And no, I did not say bloodlusted, I said drunk lusted. Basically, he's going to be trying to maintain his buzz at all times, and whenever he starts to lose his buzz, he'll down a bottle of sake. And also, we're going to give Lee leg weights, but if he needs to take it off, he can. So let's start with Lee's background, and I already know y'all are thinking that no one can beat Shikamaru with prep time, whatever, but we know that Drunk Lee is a force to be reckoned with, so he might have a chance. So anyway, the only time in this series we saw him use the Drunken Fist is when he fought Kimimaro. Now, during that fight, we had Guy explain the first time that Lee accidentally got drunk, And in his story, he said that not even he himself or Neji were able to stop Lee while drunk. And
Yep.
I don't know if y'all understand the gravity of this statement, but supposedly the greatest taijutsu user ever was unable to stop Lee while drunk. Now I can already hear y'all saying that a drunken fist could not even beat Kimimaru. And how would he beat Shikamaru with prep time? But in that fight, Lee was supposed to be bedridden that day because he had surgery the prior day to literally repair his shattered arm and leg. So a bedridden Lee was able to give Kimimaru a run for his money.
Yeah.
And I think that if Lee was healthy, then Kimimaru
That's
would
also
have
a
lost.
really, really good point because you're talking about a Lee that just got out of surgery, out of bed. He should be recovering and taking it very easy. Even stated by Sanade that he should not be doing anything, fighting, whatever. Take it very slow. And then even before that, the first time Sanade even makes a statement, she basically says, yeah, no, like, dude, you're fucked up so much. Like, even if this surgery was a success, like, I don't know, bro. I don't think you can be a ninja anymore, So, the fact that he can get out of bed, which we know reality science that is also in Naruto as well, there's plenty of evidence to support that, okay? The fact that this Lee, meaning he's weaker in comparison to Prime Lee, which is the one that is in the tuning exams, in the Forest of Death, the beginning, and also against Gaara eventually. This is a weaker Lee, okay? And the fact that this Lee could still give Kimimaru a run for his money with Drunken Fist, and even with the first gate as well, okay, is insane. That's crazy. It's literally a feat itself, okay? And which is why Lee is just such a fucking threat to even begin with. I'm sorry, but if Lee was in the tuning exams, deadass, I'm not joking. With just the 5 gates alone, if Lee was actually in the tuning exams, let's say he beat Gaara, right? Or let's say somebody else got Gaara as an opponent, like Dozu or whatever, and Gaara just beat him, whatever, and went from there. Lee's beating Neji. Lee's beating Sasuke. Lee's beating Naruto. Naruto is a lot more contentious, but Lee could definitely pull it off if Naruto's not able to summon 2,000 Shadow Clones, or if Naruto's not able to summon Genbuto, or, or whatever. Or the only other way maybe Naruto could possibly win if, the One-Tailed came out. But it's kind of contentious, and whether or not if he could even go that far at that point is kind of, debatable. But regardless, Lee would basically slam anybody that's there except for Gaara. Okay? So, Lee's no joke. Lee is absolutely no joke. He's extremely powerful. Okay? And mind you, if you guys don't believe me, whatever, you think that's bullshit. You're talking about a Lee, okay, that is so strong, out of bedridden after surgery, okay? You guys know how that works. If you, as a human being, were to have surgery, you should be in no condition to fight, you name it, whatever, okay? The same Lee can fight against Kimimaru. While Sasuke, with Chidori and 2-Tomo Sharingan in CM1, lost to the Sound 4, okay? Or couldn't even beat Saikon by himself. Someone that Kiba was able to fight to a degree and give him a run for his money, and eventually needed the aid of Kankuro. Okay? So, take that as a grain of salt, but Lee's no joke. Lee was definitely the strongest tuning exam participant out of all of them there. Okay? So, yeah. Let's put that out. I'm just putting that out there, but either way, let's get into it. Let's move forward.
And God bless Kimimaru's heart if Lee had opened any gates against him while he was drunk. Now let's review over God in the flesh, Shikamaru with prep time. I mean, with prep time he was able to beat Hidan, and that is just an insane feat. So Shikamaru outsmarted this absolute genius in a Hidan, and well, Lee is just not one of the smarter characters in the series. But Lee can dodge attacks very well.
Busy. He's awake. Did I wake him up? Huh?
I don't know, he's just awake.
Oh.
And we saw in his fight against Kimimaru that he was able to dodge Kimimaru's attacks with his eyes closed, and that's just insane. So how is Shikamaru going to pull this one off? Well, anyway, we've seen in his fight against Hidan that all he had to do was try to punch Hidan, and when Hidan caught his punch, he was able to connect his shadow and perform the shadow paralysis jutsu. So the fight would start, and Shikamaru...
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. So he's talking about Shippuden though, which makes sense because the only prep time face Shikamaru has is in Shippuden. So Drunken Fish Shippuden Lee versus Shikamaru. I still think it would be the same result. You know what I mean? Like Drunk Lee would just still scale over. You know what I mean? You would have to prove that Shikamaru's scaling could be on the similar level. You know, so I don't know. You know, like unless you think like Drunk Lee would not strike hard enough to one shot, you know, like Speedblitz and one shot Shikamaru. Like let's say you just want to toy with him, you know, for whatever reason, and just threw a punch and Shikamaru, you know, like had contact and then there you go, shadow possession. But I don't know, like if we go with the line of scaling, Drunken Lee should definitely be able to still win, even if it's Shippuden versions. You know, that's just me, but like I'm dead ass trying to even think. Like, the only thing I could really think of for Shikamaru to be able to win is if he can somehow pull like a Genjutsu, or not even like if like let's say Lee is there, right, Drunken Fist, and he like charges forward, okay, like unless you think like maybe if he has like a bunch of paper bombs everywhere that starts exploding to where like Lee's forced to move and dodge or whatever. In that, you know, like the paper bomb explosions are able to compensate for the scaling difference, and that can allow Shikamaru to land whatever he needs to land, you know, to win, then sure. But once again, that's like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, you have to really give Shikamaru the benefit of the doubt. Like, if Shikamaru is able to utilize his tools and resources in a way to where that can give openings or give him time to land a shadow possession or whatever, then sure, he could probably be able to win, but it's going to be like a 1 out of 10 high diff. Still. Because once again, if someone outscales you so much, before you could even react or utilize your plans, you're dead, right? Like, unless you have like some automatic type thing, like a sentry gun that's automatic, or I don't know, if you step on a certain area, like something immediately comes and grabs you or whatever, like, unless you got something that can be able to react or do something effective against them, regardless of them overscaling you, you know, like, what do? You know what I mean? Like, all right, for instance, if you have like Reverse Flash or the Flash against Batman, right? We obviously know the Flash would be extremely way more faster than Batman. Okay, so even if Batman has a gadget that he can use, or if he has like a tool or whatever the case may be that he can use to beat Flash, if Flash is more faster, he won't be able to react or do anything. He'll just be frozen. It'd be like he's frozen in slow motion or in time. And then Flash just does whatever, and then bam, he gets beaten. So unless like Batman can like already have a suit, or if he has something that is able to activate just as fast as the Flash's speed, and then be able to immobilize and beat him, that's a different story. But we know damn well Shikamaru doesn't have anything that could be able to, I guess, scale to Drunken Fist. You know what I mean? Like activization wise, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, bro. Like, you really, really got to give Shikamaru the benefit of the doubt. Like, you really do. In my opinion, though. Like, I could be... Fuck me. You know what I mean? I could be just tripping, right? But, I don't know.
Shikamaru would throw a punch at Lee and he would catch it. And then Shikamaru would have him under the Shadow Possession Jutsu. I mean, it should already be game over, but we're not done yet. Anyway, with this prep time that Shikamaru has, he would have made a place in the forest where he has set up a trap. And so, he's going to lead Lee over there and put him in the trap that's full of explosives and then kill him. So they would be running to the trap and everything would be going well for Shikamaru, but there would be a problem. Lee's buzz would start to wear off, and as I said earlier in the video, Lee is drunk lusted, so no matter what, he's going to be trying to stay drunk. So basically, Lee is just going to say, 5th gate open, and that Shadow Paralysis Jutsu is going to break immediately.
Oh, for sure.
And Lee's going to chug a bottle of sake. So things are actually looking bad for Shikamaru here. I mean, a 5th gate Lee, while drunk, could honestly beat Superman and Goku at the same time. But anyway, on top of that, Shikamaru would be out of chakra. And I know that he has the deepest chakra reserves in the series, but at this point in the battle, he would be out. However, we know that Shikamaru plans 4 million moves ahead of his opponent in every battle he's in, so he would have been expecting Lee to do this. And
sure.
To beat Lee in this fight, he would have put poison in Lee's sake. And I don't really know how we would do it because we cannot understand Shikamaru. His intellect is above any human being. So all I know is that he would be able to poison Lee's bottle of sake, and I don't know the details out, but I know he would. So Shikamaru would win with low to negative difficulty. And before I end this video, I'd also like to mention that this is completely true, that the author of the manga, Kishimoto, actually originally planned for the Chunin exams to not be interrupted, and the attack on Konoha would happen after the final fight, and he wanted Shikamaru to win. So this just proves that the only thing that can beat Shikamaru is plot. So this is where I'm going to stop the video, and please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos.
Okay, so pretty good line of evidence, reasoning, you name it, etc. Perfectly fine. So I'm going to be 100% real with you. That is actually genius, what he just came up with. In character, like, if Shikamaru obviously has prep time and he knows of his opponent's abilities, because he will, it's prep time, right? Then that's actually genius. Shikamaru would win, because that's something he would do. He would just have poison in the fucking bottle. Or he would have something that would maybe just put him to sleep and that's it, GG. Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and that's it, GG. Like, so, overall, like, absolutely. Now, if Shikamaru doesn't do that, which would be out of character in my opinion, then Lee would just straight up speed blitz. Especially if he stacks the fucking gates with Drunken Fit. Like, there's nothing he would do. Nothing he could fucking do. It's just not happening. So, I'm gonna give that to New Horizons. Like, if I went to debate him, and let's say I picked Drunken Lee, my whole thing would just be, oh, he just outscales whatever, beats him, blah, blah, whatever. You know? And then all he would have been to say would be like, well, guess what? Sorry, but the bottle would have had poison in it. And then I would have been like, damn, that is something he would probably do, yeah. You got me. You win. I would concede the debate. That'd probably be the fastest. That'd probably be the only and one fucking time I would ever concede a debate, if I'm being real with you. I did not even fucking think of that. I didn't think of that at all. You know, so that's pretty interesting. Now, if we're being honest, so, you know, like, obviously if Shikamaru doesn't put poison in his thing or whatever, then he gets defeated no matter what he can even think of to do on the fly. Because if we're talking about like a Shikamaru that has prep time to like try to think of how hang on this shit to think of how to like beat Lee, you know, like on the fly with like whatever resource he can think of, whatever blah blah, like kind of basically the prep time Shikamaru that we see against Kakasu and Hidan, where he still has to fight them and obtain the advantage, you name it. Then that type of prep time Shikamaru would definitely lose. He wouldn't be able to do anything. He'd just be outscaled and get killed. But if we're talking about like a prep time Shikamaru that just anything goes, whatever way he can think of, that is probably the only realistic way he could pull it off, if I'm being real with you. The only way. You know what I mean? So technically, like let's say if I was debating, the only line of defense you can really use to kind of refute against that or be like, no, that's bullshit, that's out of character, you could just be like, oh, that's just out of character. A prep time Shikamaru wouldn't technically do that because, you know what I mean? Like, that's like saying, you know, somehow, some way, Shikamaru just has, like, Hidan's blood or whatever already without even obtaining or getting it, and therefore he just uses his ability against him, whatever. Like, that's really weird to say. Like, no, like, the prep time in character feats that Shikamaru does is he'll plan how to beat someone, and then he'll have to enforce his plan upon his opponent. You know what I mean? Things like that. So it'd be really out of character for him to already have done something to his opponent without them knowing. That's weird. You know what I mean? So you can kind of go along in that line of debating and arguing. You know, so you don't necessarily have to concede, but overall, it's a pretty good argument to use for Shikamaru. I'll give that. But if you wanted to defend against it and kind of go that way, you could be like, oh, that's something he wouldn't even do. Like, that's stupid, you know? That's basically, in a nutshell, that's basically fucking, like, that's cheating. And like that. There's no point of a fight to begin with, you know? It's just dumb. Like, it'd be one thing if, like, Shikamaru was somehow able to land maybe a poison kunine, or, I don't fucking know, like, you know, be able to, like, do shadow possession and then make Lee throw his drink and then slip like poison in there without him knowing or something. Like, sure, that would be more understandable. That would be in character. But like just for him to already have done that in advance and then to fight, I don't know about all that. You know what I mean? So you can. That's like the only way you can really argue against it, whatever you name it. But either way, it's pretty good. You know, I'll give him that. And if we're talking about like anything goes type prep time Shikamaru, then that's fine. There's no reason to even argue against that. So, but if we're talking about it in character, I disagree. I'd say no, that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't make sense for him to do that. That would basically be like, oh well, then he like that's like saying he would just automatically have Hidan's blood. Like, why would he automatically have his blood? That's stupid. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so we'll kind of leave it there. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Shikamaru takes it, or do you think Lee takes it? And as always, you know, we'll kind of just leave it there. Comment your thoughts down below. Subscribe for more content. Subscribe to the channel, especially if you're Naruto fans. Peace.